Hey, hey, everybody. We're live. Did you
Hi,
know that?
everybody.
Did you know that? You know, it's time to talk
We're
about
alive.
the double take with Derek and Elon. Pow.
Double take, double take. We're doing a little double take connections. Whatever. Whatever.
Yeah.
So, wait, where's my little cheat sheet here?
Cheat
I'm really
sheet.
excited about this one. So we watched Fargo. That was our after the credits pick for this week, which inspired the connection to this week's movie, which you had not seen, which
Yeah.
makes me super super excited. I think for obvious reasons, we just watched Cool Hand Luke too.
Yeah, exactly.
And you saw, I mean, obviously there were a lot of
The
very,
opening
very,
shot.
very obvious
Yeah.
references to Cool Hand Luke, which is crazy because I hadn't seen Cool Hand Luke, since the last time I saw Oh Brother Where Art Thou. So I didn't even know that those connections existed. The sheriff with the sunglasses,
Hmm.
the opening shot. So super, super pumped to see all three of these things kind of come together. Roger Deakins is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason that they, Roger Deakins collabs with Coen Brothers because, yeah, just that is such a, those, the brothers and Roger Deakins are already just alone, just a powerhouse.
Yeah.
So
Two
it's,
brothers.
yeah.
Okay, so if I can get this silly thing pulled up.
This gold darn thing. One thing I do have to say right up front George Clooney, I don't know, man. He's a good
Is this gonna be a
actor.
hot take? This is gonna be a hot take.
Yeah, he's a great actor, but he is surrounded by people with thick Southern accents, and he doesn't do it. Out of, living in America as an American who grew up in America, even me growing up in California, whatever, I don't care where you're from in America, doing a Southern accent is probably the easiest thing any American can do. It may not be like genuinely authentic or whatever, depending on what part of the South you're trying to represent when you do a generic Southern accent. But come on, George.
Yeah, but he's an educated man. He's a Dapper Dan man.
I don't care, man.
That's funny to me. I
Yeah.
didn't mind it. I feel like in a weird way, it kind of fits in with his character because he is supposed to be like the smart one of the trio. But I totally get it. I totally get it. I don't know, production wise or whatever, if the Coen brothers were like, yeah, you need to have a Southern accent, or if they were just like, no, or if that was intentional.
Yeah.
No idea. It didn't bother me though, but that's funny that it bothered you, or that at least it was
Yeah.
notable to you.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't bother me per se, but sure, it was like, you couldn't at least just do, I mean, I know you're the Dapper Dan and you're the educated one, but just at least a little bit of an accent.
Yeah, the best part about that too is that he doesn't really have the accent, which is like the opposite of everyone else until he starts singing. Then it's
Exactly.
I am a man of counting sorrow.
Yeah.
So that's pretty funny to me.
Yeah.
All right, well, welcome to today's Connections. Elon and I are going to play a little game today where we've chosen Oh Brother, Where Art Thou for our film that has a notable connection to our After the Credits film that we chose, that we discussed with Brad. The fun part about this that I'm very excited for, considering you've never seen this movie, is that we've both chosen a specific scene from the movie, and then we're going to break it down individually. Each of us is going to break down a scene, but the best part is that we don't know what scene the other person has picked. So
Yeah.
Elon doesn't know what scene I've picked, and I don't know what scene he's picked. So Elon, do you want to roll the dice, rock, paper, scissors, who goes first? Or do you want to go first since you've never seen this before?
Sure. I'll go first because I think
Yay!
didn't you go first last time with Cool Hand Luke?
Yes,
Or
I
maybe
believe
no.
so. No, you went first, Cool Hand Luke, because
I
you
did go first.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
yeah,
make
I
you
did.
go first anyway, because you've never seen this before.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. Well, this is the first shot of, I'm going to bring it up here in a second. The first shot of this scene. So it might be a dead giveaway if you are familiar with this movie.
Drum roll, please.
Bam. This is the first shot.
The Cyclops.
Yeah. But again, Roger Deakins, but just the fact that the entire movie has this very desaturated, almost not sepia, but very desaturated look.
I would call it
to
sepia. I would call it sepia.
Yeah, because I've there definitely were some shots that had like kind of a brownish, orangish hue to them. So I just loved that aesthetic right off the bat. Because the opening shot with the chain gang, it almost looked black and white.
Mm-hmm.
But then as it panned over, then you could see that there was a little bit of color to it.
Mm-hmm.
But man, when I saw this particular shot, I was like, this is a great shot. That's a great tree. I mean, it just thinking of the scouting location scouts being like, that's a great tree. We're gonna need that in a shot.
Right. Honestly, it looks like one of those old like Windows wallpapers or whatever that you don't get right. Looks awesome. Looks awesome. And I love the color grading on it.
Mm-hmm.
Love the color.
It's great. But yeah, I love this scene because John Goodman has an eye patch. This is the story of the Odyssey. Clearly, he is Cyclops with only one eye. But also, just again, I love it how the Coen brothers often love to take risks and big swings when it comes to the time period in which their stories take place, and especially if it takes place in older times like this movie or like Hudsucker Proxy, where they just don't talk like us like we do in modern times. So they have to write dialogue that fits that era. And just the conversation that they're having during this picnic. I mean, obviously John Goodman is a legend, and Coen brothers love to have John Goodman in their films. So
I mean,
it was
why not?
Seeing John Goodman again pop up in another Coen brothers movie. I mean, I knew he was in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I just didn't know to what capacity, obviously, since I had never seen the film. So once I saw that he was representative, a representation of Cyclops, I was like, good on you, Coen brothers. That just makes sense to me.
Did you find that, because it says right in the opening credits that it's, loosely based or whatever, inspired by Homer's Odyssey?
Yeah.
So I'm curious because I was watching an interview from a behind the scenes documentary about it and found that they had never actually read the Odyssey. That all of the stuff that's quote unquote inspired by the Odyssey is just the more the stuff that society knows or that's been like publicized. What am I trying to say? Like the pop culture references really that come from the Odyssey, the Cyclops, the sirens, the boat, the stuff, but it doesn't really obviously carry through. It's kind of loosely based on it. Right. Did that ring out to you? Have you read the Odyssey? Are you familiar enough with it to see the stuff?
No, I mean, I'm familiar with kind of the rough, very, very rough beats of the Odyssey, but I personally have never sat down and read the Odyssey.
Okay.
So I already knew that it was loosely based on it. Again, I probably went into it with the same mindset as the Coen brothers, not having actually read it, but through pop culture, having seen it referred to in various ways.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, that was my only, take on, or at least education or some educated guess as to how it correlates to the Odyssey or what it has to do with it. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I also, just as a means of commentary, I absolutely love the specific shot that you picked, like out of the stills, just because it lines up that single eye with his nose and mouth so well.
Right.
Really, really selling that Cyclops vibe.
Yeah,
So,
dude.
super good choice on the still.
Mhm. Yeah,
Eating the bones.
I was constantly just taking pictures with my phone, actually, because this is actually a shot of my television. Yeah, because yeah, that's how I had to go through that. But even just like, these shots, the compositing, that big old tree on the right, they're just having their picnic. But I I do like how it's immediately apparent that John Goodman's character is just this kind of larger than life presence, because of the fact that a lot of the shots pointing towards John Goodman are low. They're low shots pointing up.
Well, yeah, because he's Big Dan.
Exactly. He's Big Dan. And also, just like any, from a cinematography perspective, when you're dealing with somebody who is supposed to be imposing and larger than life and menacing, that it's always shot from below and then you're looking up. And this one you can see it a little bit, but yeah, when he's when he's about to break off that big old branch from the tree, yeah, again, this is more clearly from a downward angle. But my favorite, I didn't get a good shot of him actually hitting, what's his face? Who's the other guy?
Delmar?
Yeah. When he actually hits Delmar, because he does it so quickly, I could only get blurry shots. So
it's a pretty wacky hit, though. Like,
yes,
it's very extreme. It kind of took me shocked me a little bit the first time I saw it.
Because again, like we were talking about, or like I brought up in Fargo, how they'll have this sense of humor in it and this awesome dialogue and these awesome shots, and cinematography is brilliant. And then they just surprise you with violence. And yeah,
surprise violence.
Yeah, I was taken aback by just, I mean, there's not like gore or anything. There's no blood in this particular scene, but I mean, except for Delmar's face and mouth, when they cut to close-ups of him later on. But yeah, once again, just out of nowhere, the Coen Brothers are like, boom, here's some violence for you. And it's, but my favorite part about this scene is how he smacks Delmar, and George Clooney's character is just unfazed. He's like, what's going on, Dan? What's going on, Dan? What's all this about, Dan? It's like, like anybody, if they had seen that happen in front of them and in such close proximity, would freak the fuck out and back up or roll away or try and get it as far away as they could from what is actually happening. But no, he just sits there continuing to eat his corn. What's this then about, Dan? And then and he knows it's coming, but he still doesn't get out of the way of himself getting smacked in the head. But yeah, and then Delmar, tackles him, and then they have this little skirmish.
Does your TV do any kind of like HDR reframe or what do you call it? adjusting the values on it, because I'm noticing as you're flipping through the photos that I can tell that they're phone pics, because it
Yeah.
seems very bright compared to the shots that I took, which were screenshotted. So I'm
Yeah, like
very,
from your
very,
laptop, I'm assuming?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm just seeing a big difference in that range.
That could be true. Or it could also be because it was over Plex. Um,
Mm,
yeah, a number of factors could have uh, added to the brightness or the contrast or
yeah.
the
I just
just
even wonder if that's, when you said the sepia was really like yellowy and more of that
yeah,
yellow color versus like the amber color, if that contributed to that. Awesome. It's
yeah,
just the shots look great. I mean, even this one with them both on the ground and him
yeah.
standing in the middle, like,
I know, and he's just dead center. Because
mhm.
that's one reason I wanted to capture this shot too.
That's the other thing. The blocking in this movie is awesome. Like from a
Mhm.
directorial perspective, I really really like the specific moves that they use in a lot of the different places. One scene that really really cracks me up is the fight scene between George Clooney, um, or Ulysses Everett,
Mhm.
and the I forget what the guy's name is that's dating his wife slash ex-wife. Vernon,
Oh,
is that his
right.
name? Is it Vernon? I'm looking at the cast list. Anyway, when they're doing the whole this thing,
Yeah,
the
what
blocking in that scene is fantastic.
yeah.
It's so fantastic because they start off, they're circling each other, and then right
Mhm.
when he gives him that first pop, and George Clooney just kind of like whacks his head and spits in the air. It's like perfectly positioned so that the fist is covering it, so it really looks like he made contact, but
Yeah.
obviously he didn't make contact at all. So this shot and that shot really remind me of that excellent blocking.
Yeah, man. And I do agree, like, as soon as he puts his dukes up, I was like, "Oh, man, this is
And
great."
his like wild, like beleaguered expression, his
Right.
bewilderment is just like, it's so funny. It's so
Yeah,
good.
man.
Anyway, sorry, keep going. I just
Yeah. So, like, but yeah, this shot as well is great when he squishes the toad in his hands. Del Mar thinking that it's Pete.
Pete. Yeah.
So, but again, totally menacing, shooting upward. Colossus is just this menacing presence and squishing this frog.
Yeah. It's great too, because at this point they're both on the ground. So it even makes sense for them to be
Right.
looking up at him from down on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah,
God, what a
exactly.
good choice for Cyclops. What a great, great choice.
Mhm. And let's see, just a few more. This one, I didn't get a really good shot of it, but
Just his crotch.
this
Yes.
particular one was great because again, it's pointing up, but it's the only time where it's not just kind of like this static shot. It's the shot that kind of follows him as he's
Mm.
stepping over the camera, which I thought was a really unique shot compared to the rest of the scene. Because it's just this overwhelming, larger than life presence, this monster, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
that shot in particular, walking over the camera, is very typical of like some monster movie.
Yeah.
With
It's almost, you almost expect like a camera shake when each footstep
right,
hits, like,
right, yeah, like Godzilla walking over
yeah.
the camera or whatever. So I thought that was pretty
I'm
cool.
gonna butter your bread.
And yeah, this one's pretty blurry again, but yeah, just man, just walking away. And then I really like this final shot too, as he gets
Great
in the car
framing.
and drives away.
Great framing.
Gosh, Roger Deakins, man, gotta love him.
Yeah. It really
Just
makes me wonder too, because with how fantastic he is, I have to assume that directors like the Coen brothers really just give him, they give him like a general idea of what they want, and then they really
mhm.
let him pick all the framing and everything. But I did see on the Blu-ray they have a storyboard comparison that I didn't get a chance to watch. I'm
Oh,
really, really curious to watch that, to see how they blocked out the scenes that we're talking about, and maybe on the Substack version. So YouTube, the reason we have to show screenshots is because YouTube doesn't let us play play the full scenes from these videos.
Yeah.
They take down this stuff, which sucks. So boo on YouTube for that. I mean, I get it, whatever. But Substack lets us put all the videos, so maybe we'll overlay some of those storyboards or some of those shots as comparisons in the post video version of this, that we're going to put on Substack for paid subscribers. But yes, I really wonder, because shots like this, especially with it driving off to the left like that, is just like it's perfection. The framing on it is incredible.
Yeah, dude. But I do like the themes of this particular scene. You know, I was also kind of looking up online because I had an idea of why of what is actually thematically happening and the symbolism and all that. And obviously Cyclops being a monster, and you know, um that's pretty apparent, pretty obvious. But just the whole um not just the direct mythological callback to Cyclops, but just a warning about like false safety and temptation. Because in the scene before this, you know, that's when they first meet Dan
At the
and him
restaurant, yeah.
at the restaurant, being a Bible salesman, and then him enticing them to go outside and have a picnic with him, because they continue to fall into these traps. It's like they always get this false sense of security from these people that they meet along the way, and they always end up, you know, somehow getting bested or hurt or, you know, whatever. And just another example of them uh, relying or having too much faith in somebody they had just met. And sure enough, he beats the crap out of them and takes their money.
Yeah, well, it's funny to
away.
me. I think this movie especially really shows off every character is an opportunist. Every single one of them. You know, our three main characters are kind of opportunists. You know, finding the right moment to escape from the chain gang and, you know, get away from them or whatever. And the thing that strikes me about these so much is that you have almost every other character, like our three characters are opportunists, but they don't really hide that they're opportunists. They are. But every other person in the movie, including, you know, the candidates that are running for mayor, and Dan, Big Dan, the Bible salesman, they have this facade that they put on. You know, he's a Bible salesman. He's such a good person, and the, you know, mayor is you know, this good guy, and the other guy running for mayor, what's his name? Pappy is, or I guess he's the incumbent or whatever, but Pappy is running, you know, and he pretty much is like all against this stuff until he realizes that it's personally beneficial to him, and then he's all, oh, the soggy bottom boy, you know, whatever. And it extends, you know, George Nelson, his facade is he wants to be this big bad mobster boss or whatever, and then you see as soon as that lady calls him babyface, it's kind of like, that's not good for my image, you stop that right now.
Right.
You know, and it's funny because our three guys are the criminals in the movie, and yet they're the only ones that are honest and upfront about their criminality, with the exception of Everett's, you know, his deception for his friends, that he didn't actually kill somebody or whatever it was. He faked having a law degree or a law license, and that's why he was actually in jail on the chain gang. So I think it's funny. That's the Cyclops, especially with being the Bible salesman, I think is like a great allegory for things.
Yeah, because that's the other thing, is that, you know, like just this kind of twist on just religion in general, where, you know, basically that, you know, people are led into a false sense of security because you're preaching, you know, good things about Jesus, and to follow his teachings, etc. And yet,
and then boom, Catholicism.
He's gonna screw you over and take your money. So that whole like symbolism behind that stuff, um and also just the fact that it's kind of funny how Dan, being half blind, can still see better than our protagonists. And and just how they continue to get into situations that, you know, end up being not so great for them. So,
Multiple times, over and over and over
yeah.
again.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I got on that scene. And I mean, it just also just a reminder of how violent life can be at any given time, and sometimes it literally comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Although it
we're in a
was
tight
kind
spot.
of yeah, although it was at least I was able to see that they were going to be beaten as soon as he was reaching for that branch, and then, you know, subsequently broke it off. So I'm like, oh, they're they're the ones that are literally blind to
Yeah, so
everything that is in
obvious, even
front
a
of them.
half-blind man can see it.
Yeah, exactly. So
Damn, we're in a tight spot. I like that scene too.
over and over.
Okay,
So there you go.
that was
That's
wonderful.
my scene.
I love that you picked that scene for multiple reasons, but primarily because it's one of the scenes that kind of harkens to the whole inspiration of the Odyssey.
Yeah. Like pretty much the most blatant.
Yeah. Yeah. So I actually I had a little bit of trouble narrowing down the scene that I wanted to do. There was three in particular that I really, really enjoyed. One was the first one that I wanted to do was the scene where the Delmar and Pete get saved when they're walking by the
Yeah.
thing. And I say this as a video game enthusiast or a video game player, a gamer, if you will,
Mhm.
that it really reminds me of the opening of this game, BioShock Infinite, that is essentially the
Oh.
same thing. It's kind of a baptism, and you're introduced. The game is a single player game, but it's introduced the same way, where you suddenly just see a crowd of people in white robes walking towards a
Mm.
specific spot, and you're like, you know, kind of like in the movie, the same way that it draws you in, the
Yeah.
video game kind of draws you in, and it leads the character to that spot, which I think for a video game is really, really great game direction, because
Mhm.
there's nothing forcing you to go in that direction. It's you can literally run in the opposite direction at that point in the game if you want. You won't get
Yeah.
far, but the fact that it kind of just naturally leads you to that was great. And I love that song that they sing as they're going down to the
Yes.
water. I just thought that whole scene was beautiful, but I didn't pick that scene. Another scene that I was considering doing, because we had watched Cool Hand Luke, and there's multiple callbacks to it, is the scene where they meet the man, the blind guy pumping the
Right.
rail car.
Mhm.
That had a ton of cinematography that was very reminiscent of Cool Hand Luke. There was shots,
Mhm.
you know, of that the rails going out off into the distance with that nice perspective.
Right.
And then it's also echoed. I did take a screenshot that I'm going to show for a different reason at the end of this, but I really liked that was picked. But like you, the scene that I actually picked was a scene that harkens back to the Odyssey, and that's this one where they're riding in the car and they meet the sirens. And a couple
Yeah.
shots that I thought that I picked because they kind of called back not only to some stuff in Fargo, but also just I really loved the way that they were framed. I loved the way that they were blocked. There's some, you know, some kind of lead lines that follow all the way through this. So again, I know they're in a car, but if you've subscribed to our Substack, then you've probably read my article on the right hand man, and this is like a perfect setup shot for here, because you have Everett, who is the de facto leader of the group, because he's the only one that has any kind of brains and critical thinking skills. You've
Mhm.
got Pete, that's his right hand man, and then Delmar's kind of just the, yeah, I'm with both of you guys in the background, you know, when
Right.
they have that dispute or whatever. But I especially like the way this shot is framed, just because of the way that it kind of sets up the journey. Again, harkening back to the Odyssey of the car is their boat, and they're traveling in the ship, and you know, they're going to the near spots, and then they get distracted, or Pete, I should say, gets distracted by it. So what I
Mhm.
like about this scene, especially with the framing and the blocking, is the switch that happens, that when Everett is in charge, they're mostly going in the right direction. And then
Right.
as soon as Pete gets put in charge, they're off in their own little world. Much like the shot that you said of the Cyclops, I think this is a great way to frame the sirens.
Mhm.
And most importantly, to give them something to do that makes sense for them to be here, which is they're washing their clothes in the river, they're wringing them out, so you get this nice, we're gonna wring out water all over ourselves. Just everything you get to up that siren factor, to up that trance, that the facade of their beauty that pulls people in, that pulls the sailors in, that gets
Mhm.
Odysseus and his crew trapped in this situation to begin with. I love the color grading. I will say, and I think you know this, but some of our viewers might not know this, I am red-green color deficient. I am a deutan, which means that I have issues distinguishing between reds and greens. The color
Mhm.
grading on this makes it especially easy for me to see all the contrast, all
Yeah.
the different kind of things that you're supposed to see in this shot. So I especially appreciated that about the color grading in this part of the scene. Um, I love the framing on this.
Mhm.
It puts Pete kind of on the right, so you have like a positional awareness of where the characters are in this scene. But then as the other guys kind of rush into the scene, it's especially cool. And I just kind of flipped through back and forth because I really like the framing and the blocking, because as you're introduced to each of the sirens, you're also introduced to the next one kind of with the previous one in the background, which I thought
Yeah.
was cool. So it really kind of sets up the relationship of, hey, this siren is for this guy, this siren is
Right.
for this guy, this siren is for this guy. And so it kind of just, follows that progression, but they each get their own introduction. So you're not paired, you're not tied. Each character gets its own introduction, but then you literally see the siren and then the reaction to the siren. And I'm gonna go back because I love the dumbfounded looks on their
Right.
faces as you see they're getting entranced by them. I really
Mhm.
think every single one of them did a fantastic job. Tim Blake Nelson, John Turturro, I absolutely love their goofy expressions. And then George Clooney, his is a little bit more subtle and kind of like a sly, like, hey,
Right.
like this could actually work. But really, he's just as entranced as them.
Mhm.
And then what I especially like about the way that this scene is blocked here, so not just framed, but the blocking in particular. And again, this is one of the ones that I'll probably show in the Substack version of the
Mhm.
video. I'll go back and edit this to include those because I think they're really important. But the blocking on this with the framing, where the characters are walking past the camera and you see each one getting paired up with their siren.
Yeah.
What I like about that, combined with this specific performance by John Turturro, is that it almost feels to me like he knows that they're getting into trouble here, that he knows he's specifically getting into trouble
Mhm.
as the sirens get closer. I also like this shot. A screenshot of this still, because I know that they're just clothes, but in the Odyssey, one of the things that is particularly distressing to me when you read the scene with the sirens is that when Odysseus and his crew come upon the rocks that the sirens are on, you see dead bodies, you see ships strewn
Ah,
about.
yeah.
It's no secret, but they ignore all that. They ignore all the context clues around this, and it's not quite the same. But I thought that maybe the Coen brothers put the different clothes kind of strewn about everywhere as like a nod to that, because it
Mhm.
is strewn about on the rocks. The wood, is kind of like a callback maybe to the ships. I don't know that for sure. But then when we cut back to the scene of the three guys, now Pete is the one that's leading the charge.
Front and
He's the one
center,
that's
yeah.
in the front, and Everett is his quote unquote right hand man. And the funny thing to me about this is that you then have Delmar as kind of the idiot on the left. If you if you do the whole like angels and demons thing about the angel on your right versus the demon
Right.
on your left, it's kind of the same thing. And I just thought it was funny because they do nothing. They don't try to stop him.
Right.
Neither the angel nor the demon says anything except for like, "Hey, Pete, aren't you going to introduce us?" And he's like, "I
Yeah.
don't know these people." And instead of being like, "Oh, you don't know them," he just takes them right on in. Again, I love the blocking. This scene especially because it starts off, you don't really get to see it in the stills. So again, I really urge people, if you have any interest in seeing this movie and you like, the allegory that we're showing through this scene in particular, it starts on Pete and it's
Mhm.
one shot, it's a single shot that
Yeah.
has some rack focusing going on. There's a focus puller really earning his keep in this part. I don't know if
Mhm.
Deakins did the focus pulling on his own or if there is a person doing it, but it starts with Pete. It moves to Everett getting pulled across the frame, and I love how much the framing and the blocking on the scene tell you. They're being given this drink that has XXX, which is moonshine, which is poison. It's
Right.
literally poison. Cusco's poison. Poison for Cusco's. Cusco's poison. I just love how it's framing this whole thing that Pete took a drink. Now Everett is the one taking a drink. And then Delmar doesn't even need to drink. He's just, being seduced by his lady here.
Mhm.
So I love this whole scene, but I especially love that framing and that blocking, especially that allows them to film that scene in one part that tells you exactly what's going on. It tells you that they're going to be drugged. They're not going to remember what's going on. And then it just quietly fades to black when that scene is done. And then the next part of the scene after that is them waking up to realize that Pete is missing, to where Delmar thinks that he's a frog. And without any character having to say a word, you get the whole context. You get how they got themselves into this situation.
Yeah.
You get that framing of when Everett is not the one in charge, they go in the wrong places. They
Mhm.
get into these situations that they have no business or no desire to be in. And I think this scene, the song is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the way that they sing it. I know it's not the actresses actually singing it. They did a good enough job of doing the ADR on top of it, or
Sure.
having the music show up. So that was fine. If there's one criticism I have of this scene, it's probably that is I wish they would have picked actresses that could sing so that they could
Mhm.
just naturally do that. But I also, again, without knowing directly from the directors or the filmmakers, maybe that was intentional because the sirens are supposed to be otherworldly and it's supposed to sound like it's coming from everywhere all at the same time. So,
Right.
maybe that was a very conscious choice on their part. But I love the scene. I love everything about it. It's so well blocked, so well framed. The cinematography is great from storytelling perspective. It tells you everything you need to know without saying a single word, and I just think it was incredibly strong. So
Honestly, yeah, like we're on the same wavelength because I also had 3 in mind. Um, and my other 2 were this one and the baptism scene. Because have you seen Sinners?
yes,
I just
yes,
I love how, because the parallels between this and Sinners, the fact that both of those movies um are have such the music is such an integral part of those 2 movies,
mm-hmm,
and yet they're not musicals per se,
mm-hmm,
you know?
yep,
But, like, I love it when movies can just kinda seamlessly integrate music like they have with "O Brother, Where Art Thou" and "Sinners."
yeah.
Um,
I
because
especially appreciate in Sinners, which this movie kind of does it to a point, but I think Sinners takes it a little bit above and beyond that. I
Mhm.
love that the sound is supposed to be diegetic, but what we're seeing is not necessarily actually happening to the characters. So
Yeah,
especially, I mean, Sinners really visually does a great job of doing that, but the music that they're listening to is supposed to be the band, playing up on stage or whatever. This is
right,
supposed to be the sirens singing or the Soggy Bottom Boys singing. There's a lot
right.
of that going on. It's all actually happening, but the conclusions that you draw from that are not necessarily real life. So
Yeah,
it's a
'cause
nice little flip.
I really appreciate it how something like "O Brother, Where Art Thou" has all these musical numbers throughout, and it just they just let it play out. Like, it's not just kind of this 1 minute montage or
Yeah, it's not
something.
characters singing exposition to you. They're
Yeah,
singing that's happening in the place where the characters are, and then the exposition is happening visually all around them.
exactly. And like, man, yeah, I just love it when movies do that. I haven't seen the other the more recent Coen Brothers movie with Poe Dameron. What's his name? Uh,
Isaac, Oscar
yeah,
Isaac.
Oscar Isaac, Llewellyn Davis.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one either. But I also didn't even realize until we watched Fargo that I was even a Coen Brothers fan. I
Yeah,
genuinely I didn't know. I've loved Oh Brother Where Art Thou for so long, and I didn't know that it was a Coen Brothers movie.
yeah.
So I'm really, I think I'm going to go through. You mentioned Hudsucker Proxy. That's the
Mhm.
next one I'm going to watch because I've never seen a lot of their films, and it's honestly surprising to me because the fact that I'd gone so long without seeing Fargo was incredible. I mean, just crazy to me, especially
Yeah,
considering how much I appreciated and loved this movie.
right. Did you end up seeing the one that let's see, one with Billy Bob Thornton, like from
No, the man who wasn't there or whatever. The
yeah,
man
yeah, yeah.
who, yeah. No, I'm gonna watch Hudsucker Proxy first, and
Okay.
then I'm gonna watch that one only because I think didn't they happen in that order? Hudsucker Proxy came out first, and then the man who wasn't there came out afterwards. Isn't that
Oh,
how it went?
I think so. Yeah, I think Hudsucker might have been like late '90s or something.
Yeah, I'll look that up. But
Yeah.
I do have one other. So I screenshotted a couple other things because I wasn't sure if this had any intent to it, and I wanted to ask you this live on stream. But this scene, this is the very end of the movie,
Mhm.
right as Everett and his wife are walking, across the camera, and then the kids kind of they're pulling them along with this rope.
Yeah.
Those kids are miscolored, right?
Uh, I mean, yeah, it kind of looks like there's some greens.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So see,
There's
like I
there's like
noticed
way too
this
much green in the shot.
this highlight, especially on the shoulder here. Oh, you can't see that. Can you see that in this one here? There you go. There's like a
Yeah.
weird like coloration on the shoulder here. But it leads to one of the shots that I was going to call back on when I was thinking about doing that scene because this is where that old man is. But
Yeah.
this is the first scene in the movie where, at least that I could recall, where you can actually see the green of the grass and the trees. And so I didn't know
Yeah.
if maybe they unintentionally boosted the greens on the whole thing to give it like this green wash because now they were done. Odysseus is home. He's back with his wife. It was just odd, and I couldn't tell if that was because of my color deficiency or if I was
Right.
actually seeing like these motherfuckers green or what.
Right.
I
Yeah.
genuinely couldn't tell.
But yeah, that's definitely too green.
I also really appreciated that Homer gets a writing credit on this movie. If you look it up
Yeah.
on IMDb, he actually does have a writing credit on this, which is hilarious to me. Okay, yeah. Hudsucker Proxy came out first, then Oh Brother Where Art Thou, then The Man Who Wasn't There. So I'm gonna watch Hudsucker
Oh,
Proxy
wow.
first, and then I'll go check out The Man Who Wasn't There after that.
Man, I didn't realize. I know when I saw, yeah, wasn't Oh Brother Where Art Thou like 2001 something?
2000.
2000. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anybody in chat, if we actually have 6 people watching this in chat, what other scenes did you guys like from Oh Brother Where Art Thou? Are there any breakdowns that you want to see? Are there any fun facts that you have about this movie? Is there something in particular that you guys like about this movie? Put it in the comments if you're watching this post stream. If you're watching it now, pop it in the chat here. But I really, really, really love this movie.
Yeah.
Seeing it again a few years after the last time I saw it just really makes me appreciate it again. I feel like number one, Elon, thank you for bringing up this idea for me to do Hidden Movie Club and After the Credits and all this stuff. I'm finding that as I'm watching these movies with a more critical eye or just a more mature eye, that I'm finding so much more about them and seeing all these connections between these different movies that we're watching. It's really been a joy to me to see these movies with like a fresh set of eyes, especially this one, considering that I
Yeah.
loved it without taking a critical look at it. without seeing Cool Hand Luke, without seeing Fargo, I'm just seeing
Mhm.
so many cool new things that are opening up my eyes to a lot of this stuff. So thank you. I this has been great.
Aw. Yeah, my Blu-ray copy of Oh Brother Where Art Thou arrives today, like
Oh,
this
nice.
sometime this afternoon. So
Just in time.
I'm probably gonna watch it with the commentary, or I don't even know
There
which.
is no commentary.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
yes, I
what?
have it on Blu-ray and there's no commentary. They have some special features about like the making of, and there's
Oh,
some behind the scenes stuff, but there's no director's commentary, no cinematographer,
no
DP
way.
commentary, nothing.
I
Yeah,
wonder if the
there's
DVD
nothing.
does then, because this was 2000 when commentaries were still hip.
Yep. Although, from what I've seen, most of the Coen Brothers movies don't have commentary from them. So I
Oh,
don't know if that's just like a Coen Brothers thing. Again, I've
yeah.
watched some interviews. The Blu-ray does have a behind the scenes. It's on like the making of.
Yeah.
Oh, and I should probably go grab it because I usually do my little like
Right.
DVD thing or whatever. But this is the copy that I have is like an old school blue case Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe they released Blu-rays after that and I just didn't grab it or whatever, or maybe you're right. Maybe there's a DVD version that has a commentary. I'll have to check
Yeah.
that out because again, I love this movie and I love it so much more now, having seen some other Coen Brothers stuff, having seen some of the inspiration, the movies that this movie was obviously inspired by,
Mhm.
like Cool Hand Luke. I would love to hear their take on this because that was the one thing missing from my watch, I think, is being able to see any of the filmmakers or cast or crew or anybody just, talk about what kind of went into the breakdown of this.
Yeah.
Because man, it's so great. It's so great.
I don't know about you, but because Tim Robbins is the protagonist in Hudsucker Proxy, I thought that like the first, it's like a downward shot, pretty close up of the sunglasses when they show the head guy in Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
Hmm.
I thought it was Tim Robbins at first. I was
The
like,
sheriff, you
oh
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I knew who it was immediately, only because he also plays the like city cop or whatever in Super Troopers.
Oh,
And so like when they show his face, it like immediately reminded me of there's a scene in Super Troopers. Excuse me, that's kind of similar to that. And so I wonder if Super Troopers was inspired by Cool Hand Luke in that same shot, or if it was
maybe
inspired
so.
maybe by the shot from this. I don't remember how the timelines line up on that, but
Yeah,
it was very funny. What's the guy's name? Let's give this guy his credit where he's due.
yeah.
Daniel Von Bargen.
Yeah, because once like later on in the movie when I got a better look at him, and it wasn't like a top down shot, it was more just like a straightforward shot. It's like, oh,
Chief
I
Grady. Yeah, so Super Troopers was 2001, so that technically came out after Oh Brother Where Art Thou. I'm
yes,
guessing it probably wasn't inspired by it unless they have some other connection, which maybe we can
mhm.
look up to see. But that's the Broken Lizard guys, so I don't think there's any crew overlap between them and the Coen
I don't
brothers.
think so.
But maybe it was inspired by either Cool Hand Luke or this, because that would have been in production when this
Yes,
movie came out. So
right, right,
who knows?
yeah. Well, that was cool, man. Like that was, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I will have a physical copy of it as of later today. Because yeah, I'm probably at this point I probably just need to own all the Coen Brothers movies.
Same. Well, I'm gonna watch a few more just to make sure. But
Yeah,
if if
yeah,
if
because
this
like
holds up,
I think there's what's that one with George Clooney and Catherine Zeta-Jones. Um,
I don't know.
there's like something like
And it's by the Coen brothers.
I think so,
Ooh, I don't know. Hail
but it's
Caesar,
no.
because I loved Ballad of Buster Scruggs, which I found out again afterwards that it was a Coen brothers movie. When I saw that, I didn't really pay attention to that. I
Yeah.
love Big Lebowski. That one is awesome. Intolerable Cruelty.
Yes, intolerable cruelty.
That
Yeah,
is a Coen Brothers
2003.
movie?
Yeah. Directed by Joel and Ethan Coen.
Another Billy Bob Thornton jam in there. Okay. I'll
Right.
have to check this one out too.
But I've actually never seen it, but I remember when I saw the trailer, I was like,
What? They
I just
produced
don't
Bad
care.
Santa? Oh my gosh. See, there's so many movies that I love that I
Yeah.
didn't even realize are Coen Brothers movies. So this is fantastic. This is fantastic. I can't wait to watch these.
I mean, shoot, maybe Double Take and whatever. Yeah, maybe Double Take in particular just needs to be going down a Coen Brothers rabbit hole,
Yeah,
because
at least for a
I
little
wouldn't
bit. I
mind.
mean, those are all connections. It's harder. Duppy in Duppy we trust. Duppy's watching. Raising Arizona. Yeah, that's another. Maybe I should
Yeah,
just start from the beginning and
I
watch
know
these
that I
all the way
haven't
through.
seen.
Because
I
I haven't
haven't
seen
seen
Blood Simple. I haven't seen Miller's Crossing,
Me
Barton
neither.
Fink. And I do love John Turturro, so Barton Fink seems like
Mhm.
a movie I should watch.
And I haven't seen Raising Arizona for many years. It's been
Yeah,
a
we've kind of put
long time.
ourselves in a little rabbit hole though, because since the Coens mainly work with the same crew, it's going to be limited to where we can connect to other movies unless these people have worked on,
Yeah,
movies
true.
outside of their work with the Coen brothers.
Yeah.
So, well, in any case, I'm definitely going to watch Raising Arizona. So thanks for that one, Duppy. That's a good call out. Raising
Yeah.
Arizona. And
Yeah. Well, cool.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us. All of those that came in and out. It's really cool just to see any support whatsoever during these live
Yeah.
streams, because we know, especially today, since we had to do it an hour earlier than we did it last week. So we're still trying to find some times to lock in. I mean, we think Tuesdays at noon are pretty good, but maybe we can run a poll on our Substack. So again, another reason to join our Substack, because that way it's that much easier to keep in touch or know what's going on. So yeah, we really appreciate it.
And we've done these first two double takes as just free for everybody. But as I mentioned earlier, YouTube doesn't let us put the actual videos on YouTube, which is why we got to use screenshots to talk about these. So I'm going to try to take this double take afterwards and add the actual footage in, so that we can put that on Substack. So if you like what you're seeing, you appreciate these breakdowns, and you want to see the full ones with the footage, subscribe to our Substack, because these double takes will become paid subscribers only in the future. This will be our after the credits will almost always be free to anybody. We'll have them on YouTube. We'll have them on Substack for everybody. But the double takes and other content that we're going to be putting out is going to be for paid subscribers only. So if you want to see those and you want to support us and appreciate what we're doing, please subscribe to Substack as a paid subscriber, or even on YouTube. We have the paid tier on YouTube too, right? We
there you can, although
just do it on Substack. Just do it on
yeah,
Substack.
just do it on Substack.
That's the
Because
easiest
again,
one.
like we're not trying to ostracize anybody, and we don't want to like force you to pay us to actually get our content. But we love movies so much, and we want to be able to show things in real time and to have actual footage playing out. So if Substack is the only way that we can do that,
then that's how we're gonna do it. That's how we're gonna do it.
So we hope that we are conveying this love of our movies to you, and that you love movies as well, which will, hopefully have you want to pay us $5 a month so that, you can see all that.
And if you do pay the $5 a month, then you get to pick the movies that we break down and that we do. So we're going to keep probably going down this Coen Brothers train. But if there are, if you get sick of the Coen Brothers and you want us to pivot to a different movie, you can be a paid subscriber and pick that. And then also our subscribers on Substack are also where we choose our winners for our giveaways. So if you want a free copy of any of the movies that we talk about, whether it's on the after the credits or the double take, you need to be a subscriber on our Substack. So
correct. All right. Well, it's 11:59. Pacific
right.
time. So
Yeah.
this seems like any good time to
That's our next
peace on
episode
out.
of Double Take. Hopefully, you enjoyed the breakdowns of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And the people involved in making the movie and their roles in some of these other movies. We have not chosen a winner yet for Fargo. So if you want to get in on
Well,
that, Duppy, got to
we
subscribe.
did actually, and
Oh, for
they
Fargo? No,
still
because
haven't.
that was the one for Pretty in Pink, because the Pretty in Pink person never responded. So you have two opportunities to get Fargo.
Yeah.
If you subscribe now, you can still get a copy of Fargo, or you can get a copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze, because that's the movie we're discussing next on whatchamacallit, After the
After the
Credits.
credits.
So that'll be that one. Are you a paid subscriber, Duppy, or no?
No,
I don't
free.
think it matters for the giveaways right now, but
Yeah, it doesn't matter for the giveaways.
it
So
might eventually.
you're
So
good,
okay.
Duppy.
Okay, if you're in there, then we'll be picking for that one, and then next week, like I said, TMNT Secret of the Ooze. So it is not out on 4K. Duppy was
No,
asking.
unfortunately.
So this is a kind of an interesting story, but Oh Brother can't really get a 4K release unless they do some fake upscaling, because it was the first movie by only a couple months to be digitally color corrected. So the actual
Oh,
original scan was done digitally in 2K before being transferred to 1080p. So they cannot do a 4K release of it unless, number one, they scan the original negatives, and then two, redo all of the digital color correction using that new 4K negative. So
wow.
they can't release a 4K version unless they do some kind of lame AI scaling or whatever, which I would not be in favor for.
No.
I think 2K is the best you're gonna get. So
But I think like if a company like Criterion takes over, that would be awesome because they would throw a lot of money at that. So
I mean, we'll see.
fingers
I can't
crossed.
imagine, because I would imagine that they have some kind of log books or whatever that talk about what the color space, what color grading they did, what were the
Mhm.
specific things that they changed. I just don't know that they even have those digital source files for a negative that's that old. I mean, who
Yeah.
knows? Because again, it's a digital negative that they scanned from the original film negative, and then all the grading was done digitally. So anything after
Yeah.
that is kind of stuck at that 2K level.
Right.
But
Boo.
we'll see. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thanks, Duppy, for commenting. We appreciate you.
Yay.
And we'll see you next week on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
Ron Burgundy.
Is at least for right now, Tuesday at noon is how
No, I
we're
mean for
gonna.
after the credits. Are we still
Oh,
doing
for
that?
after the credits? Yeah. Also, just how it has been.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Then we'll see you next on After the Credits, and then the following week we'll pick a Coen Brothers movie that's next in line. Maybe Raising Arizona, maybe Hudsucker Proxy, maybe one of those early ones. We'll see, and then we'll do some breakdowns of that. So we'll see you in 2 weeks for Double Take, but we'll see you in 1 week for After the Credits, talking about TMNT2 Secrets. TMNT2 Secret of the Ooze.
Booyah.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Thanks for checking in with us. Have a great day.
Bye.